Hello, I'm Kerry O'Shea Gorgone with Appfire, and this is the best project portfolio management show. We are joined today by B Squared Media's project manager, Jaime Letter, who's going to help us answer the question, how do I prioritize projects? So stick around for 10 minutes of awesome.
You've got questions about PPM, but you're afraid to ask? Well, wait no longer. Appfire presents the best project portfolio management show by Appfire.
I'll never not smile when that comes up. The best project portfolio management show by Appfire. So tell me, Jaime, how you prioritize projects. You work for a busy media company. I'm sure there's always a lot of clients that have things they view as very important and a lot of internal stakeholders as well. So what's your approach?
So I am a very proactive person, and I like to think that I plan my day and I plan my routine about being proactive. But quite honestly, you find yourself being reactive in this job, probably a little more than you'd like. When I check in, I get up very early in the morning and I will check in and kind of start to prioritize my day. Has anything happened overnight? Are there fires that we need to deal with? Two nights ago, Wednesday night, I got a text very late at night from one of our community managers saying, I'm in labor. It's a month early. Could you please find coverage for me? And of course, we jump into action mode, like, yes, go have your baby in peace. We've got this covered. But that's a fire in my book. And, she is our weekends community manager. So it was a lot of scrambling and looking at schedules and making sure that every single project is covered and that we are meeting those deliverables on the weekend.
Well, let's say it's a little less dramatic. Let's say somebody approaches you with a new project and you have to look at it against your backlog of things you already have to do. How do you decide where to slot it in?
Absolutely. And I think before we even get to that stage, B Squared is so good at looking at bandwidth. And is this a project that we can realistically take on? Do we have the manpower to do it to the fullest extent of their scope of work and what it is that they're asking for? So I think that's the first question, can we even do it? And then after that, it's really breaking down each specific task. So is it a new platform that we need to familiarize ourselves with? And who's getting that training? And where's that coming from? Are we going to have to hire new community managers to work on it? Are our account managers, do they have the bandwidth to take that on? So that's really the first step in, can we do this? And then it's those tiny little elephant bites of we're going to chink away one thing at a time and figure out how this is going to fit into our lives and our routines and our structure.
So what's in those elephant bites? What information do you need to put together to prioritize a project properly?
Absolutely. So I think the first and foremost thing of importance is the scope of work, because that's really going to lay out, are we doing content? Are we not doing content? Are they giving us the content? And how much time is that going to take? Is it a customer care and they need a dedicated community manager? How often are we checking in? We have some projects where our community managers check in 4 times a day. We have some projects where they are checking in every single half an hour, and we will hear it if we do not check in every single half an hour. So that's one of those logistics that we want to figure out. And all of that is laid out in the scope of work. It's been interesting over the last 6 months how people have been adding to their scope of work, whether that's, hey, we're going to do YouTube. Hey, we're going to do TikTok. And these are
scope creep.
Right, exactly. But these are things that we're like, oh, shoot, we've never done that before. We need to become the experts in that first and quickly before we even offer that type
so that's
of service.
Important. Now you have to look at the skills you have on your team and what's missing for the project at hand to figure out whether it's something that can come out right away to the top of the list or whether it has to wait a little while.
Exactly. And you don't want to tell anyone no, but on the same, the flip side of it, you want to be able to back up what you're offering. So whether that's, hey, can we offer this in a second language? Or, hey, can we have community management at 2 a.m.? What are those questions that they're asking for? And a lot of that's, hashed out in the discovery call. And even before that, the calls with Brooke and our team to see, is this a good fit and is this a good match?
Now, what about pet projects? Because clients have them, internal people also have them. They all take resources.
Yep.
How do you deal with something like that? That's like a pet project, but of questionable strategic value.
We've had one recently with one of our projects, and not so much a pet project, but they were very concerned with everything happening in the Ukraine and Russia. Not in anyone's scope of work, because who could absolutely predict that? But it was a little bit of that, hey, we're really interested in this, but it's teetering on scope creep 100%. And it's that fine line of, all right, we know this isn't going to be a permanent thing. We do need to make you aware that it's going to be a little bit above and beyond what you're already paying, because you're asking for these additional reports each and every week. So it's really, if we see it starting to get out of hand, we will certainly pass that conversation along to, our B Squared founders, but we also want to provide some surprise and delight and make sure that our projects are happy and thrilled and see the value in our work. So again, is it something that's taking 10 minutes a day? Is it something that's taking 10 hours a week? And that's something that we're constantly trying to balance and not nickel and dime everyone, but
right, for sure,
we're still providing value.
Now, what about real emergencies? So like you were saying at the very beginning, sometimes something like labor comes up unexpectedly and legitimately puts something to the top of the queue to be completed immediately. Like, how do you reshuffle other things? How do you decide something's a real emergency? Sometimes not labor, but sometimes when you wait, the emergency goes away.
Right. It's all right. I have been knee deep in watching Yellowstone, and this has become my life. But that was one of the I forget what season I'm on, maybe season 3. But when they said, hey, all of these emergencies are still going to be there tomorrow, they're not going away. And some of them do go away overnight. So, some things like labor or a tool not working, that's something that is kind of on the surface that we can attack. And what's so great about B Squared, and I'm sure all project manager companies have those processes in place where the day-to-day stuff can really run smoothly and run by itself, and you don't need too much micromanaging, so that you do have that freed up time to deal with these types of fires. So I think the first thing in looking at a potential fire, is how is this going to affect what we need to deliver to the client today? So is it something that can wait till 3:00, or is it something that we need to do at 8:59 this morning before we log on at 9 a.m.? And then we can kind of judge to see all right, who's around? Who can help with this? Who's got the most information on X, Y, and Z?
And as much as they might not want to do it, they're the right person to do it. Yeah.
Sorry, you're the only fish in the bucket right now, and we need your help.
So we have just about a minute left. I want to make sure we get to tools. What tools can you use that help you prioritize projects?
Absolutely. So you might laugh at me, but I am still
never
paper and pencil kind of calendar girl. So definitely a calendar. But there are 1,000 project management tools out there. We use Basecamp, and we utilize those tasks and processes that are in there. So having yourself set up for success and not counting on the 8,000 Post-it notes that you might have around, but having something in place that just more than you can access is so important. So having, a Basecamp, having a Sprout, having whatever it is in place that's going to help set you up for success, as well as just be able to feed the funnel for more people coming, because you want to make what you're doing duplicatable.
How big is your team?
Our entire team on B Squared is probably around 25. I'm on the organic side of our team, and we're probably 12-ish, depending
Well,
on.
I'll tell you why I mentioned it, because I would be remiss if I didn't. But Appfire, all of our cloud apps are free for like 85 of them are free for teams of up to 10 people, including
Okay,
our big picture project management apps. So I feel like you have to look at it. But
that's an awesome plug.
is that what the show's about? I just was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you have a small enough team, it's free for up to 10. So
Rating it
go
on.
check that out. And thank you for joining us, Jaime. And thanks to everyone who stopped by for the best project portfolio management show by Appfire. For more, go to hub.appfire.com.